Today I'll be talking about crossing with your vehicle into Mexico, not as a tourist where you stay for an hour or two, but to really import your vehicle temporarily into Mexico. There are some pieces of documents that you do need. You need to have a title that is in your name, so the vehicle has to be in your name. You need to have a passport, of course, with your name, and you need to have a Mexico insurance card. So some people say you also need to have a US insurance card, but in my case nobody asked for it. So you do also need to have a credit card or cash to pay all the fees. I'll be talking about this in a second. As you cross over the border, you leave the United States, nobody is really asking you, nobody's checking you. But then as you go into Mexico, there are checkpoints. So most cars already have permits and are authorized to go in there. Do not follow those. You want to go to the office building. In my case, it actually said immigration. I have a photo for that. You follow that sign, find a parking spot, and walk into the main office building that says immigration. As I'm in there, I went to the first counter that says Banjiercito, which is where you do the temporary import of your vehicle. So I stood in line. They told me that I need to have copies of all my documents. So I took my documents to the counter across from there and handed over my passport. And this is where the person basically just stamped my passport. So this is where I got my, I guess, visitation visa to enter Mexico. Let's see if I find the stamp. There it is. So he stamps the passport and also fills out a little piece of paper that he put into my passport. With the visa and the passport being official, he sent me to a third counter. That is where you can buy insurance. If you don't have one, I already had my insurance because I printed this out online. I printed this out at home after finding it online. There are many companies that will sell this. Mine was maxadventure.com. And that place actually made copies for me for free. He just asked for a tip, so I gave him $2 as a tip. And he just made copies of my title, of my passport, the insurance. And then he sent me back to the initial counter where I went first, where you temporarily import your vehicle. So this was Banjiercito. I also have a photo of that, even though it's not allowed to take photos in there. So here's a photo. So that person took my papers, the copies, the original and the copies, and then started to fill out some forms. You have to pay a deposit that makes sure you don't sell your car while in the country. Depending on how old your vehicle is, it's either $200, $300, or $400. I had a 2001 BMW F650, so because it's not like super old but not also new, I only paid $300 as a deposit. I could pay the deposit with a credit card that was in my name. I could have also had the option to pay the $300 in cash. So I paid it with a credit card. That was fairly simple. Then he started filling out the papers and eventually gave me 3 papers. One says temporary vehicle importation. This is the deposit, so that talks about me giving the deposit. Then I have a Banjiercito, which is the fee that I paid to have everything filled out. So he allowed me to pay this in US dollars. That was $20.50. And last but not least, I got this brown paper, which is like my title or proof of ownership while I'm in Mexico. And there's actually a sticker on the back that you peel off, and that sticker you're supposed to put on your windshield. I told him I have a motorcycle which does not have a windshield. He said that's okay. And that's it. So I paid $300 as a deposit, $20.50 as a processing fee, and on my insurance for 3 days I paid $105. So very inexpensive. So the deposit I will get back. The fee, so it's $125 or so overall to bring your vehicle for 3 weeks into Mexico. Very straightforward. There was no hassle. I just handed over the original papers with the copies. If I would have had the copies ready, I guess I could have saved the trip to the third counter. But it all worked out well. There were not many lines. I showed up early in the morning. It opens up at 7. I showed up there at 8:30. There was no line in front of me. Actually, one person was being processed who was in front of me. I was in and out within 40 minutes, I would say, because once you have all the papers and you wait for them to fill it out, that takes probably 10 minutes or so. And that's it. So after I received my papers, I walked out of the office, went onto my bike, and drove on to the next officer standing on the side of the road. All he did was nod, and I just kept on driving, and I left that secure border area, and I was in Mexico. That's it. So no hassle. The people did not speak English, I have to say that. So if you have a little Spanish, that might help. When he asked me to pay my fees, I just handed over some money and he gave me back change. I did not know how much he said I had to pay. So, but we all were able to make it work. Very straightforward, very easy. I was reading so much online about what you have to fill out in advance. Don't worry about it. You can go there. If you don't have insurance, you buy it right there. If you don't have copies, you'll get them right there. So everything you need to do, you can do right there in the offices. So just be relaxed, be cool, bring some time, and enjoy your trip to Mexico.